Presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
Ozuna, center field, and it falls, and the Marlins have tied it. Prado left field, and deep, and gone! Martin Prado. Breaking ball, fly ball, deep left center, Yelich at the wall, and they got it! Ozuna makes the catch, ball game! Yes, back in Philadelphia. Brotherly love, Michael Jack Schmidt, Marlins and Phillies. And you saw the wild ride of last night. The Fish down to their last out, come roaring back to tie it in the 9th and win it in the 11th. This would be game 2. The Fanatic begging for the keys to his banana. Oh, that's not right. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. Okay, we just saw and we just heard the highlights from last night's ballgame. The Marlins are 8 over for the first time since 2012. What was the significance of last night's win?
I think it just breeds confidence. Anytime as a team you start doing things that you haven't done before, their first win after trailing after 8, that breeds in that locker room. Guys start feeling like it doesn't matter what the situation is. If there's a pitch left, they can win the game. That's how they're feeling right now.
Marlins are hopeful that they can get a 5th starter to win a game. That trouble spot has come up for the Marlins in the rotation tonight. Jose Urena, who was relieving this year, went down in AAA, stretched out as a starter. What do you expect from this young right-hander tonight?
Well, I just hope that he can give the Marlins at least 5 innings. In his 10 AAA starts, he's only reached 5 innings 3 times. So he needs to try to find a way to extend this outing, get some good, efficient, quick outs. That way the bullpen can take over after that, and it won't put too much burden on him.
One of the prize arms in the rebuilding process for the Phillies is this guy. Vince Velasquez has had an outstanding year.
Well, that Ken Giles trade is looking pretty good for the Phillies right now. Vince Velasquez has got electric stuff. I've seen him in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning, still throwing 96 to 98 miles an hour. Kid's got a great arm.
Okay. Hey, speaking of kids, it's Email and Twitter Tuesday, kids, driven by Ford. We'll get you those emails. We'll get you those tweets. We'll try to stay away from the Fanatic tonight as the Fish and the Phils go at it in Game 2 in Philly. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Lexus of Pembroke Pines, price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. That looks good enough to jump in on a warm night here in Philly. Hot and sticky last night. Little bit, and I mean a little bit cooler tonight. Marlins lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
JT Real Muto's leading off. Martin Prado. Then you got Christian Yelich. Giancarlo, who's swinging the bat so much better now, is in the cleanup spot. Marcell Ozuna's 5th. Derek Dietrich, Chris Johnson, 6th, 7th. Adeiny Echeverria's 8th, and Jose Urena is in the 9-hole.
Vince Velasquez, 8-2, a 3.32 ERA. The Marlins have seen him a couple of times this year, and he's really burst on the scene. He made some starts with Houston last year, but as Preston mentioned, that Ken Giles trade looks better and better every day, and Velasquez is the guy that is burning brightest right now. Chicky and Pete crab fries. It's not a bad idea. Southwest Airlines with the defense. Kobayashi, Odubel Herrera, Peter Borges, Maikel Franco, Tommy Joseph on the corners, Cesar Hernandez, and Freddie Galvis up the middle. Cameron Rupp behind the plate. Marlins and Phils, 85 degrees. Humidity is down, so very, very pleasant. Tomorrow is supposed to be a spectacular day here in Philadelphia. Real Muto, Prado, Yelich against Velasquez. And this ball game is underway. And a strike to Real Muto, who had a base hit last night, and it was an important one. With 1 out in the 9th inning, Real Muto got aboard. He would score on the Yelich double. That would bring the Marlins within a run, and then Marcell Ozuna's single would tie it, send it to extras, where the Marlins would win the ball game. Good live fastball from the 24-year-old out of Pomona, California. Oh, 2. You can see in mid to upper 90s with the fastball.
Really got good stuff. Got a great breaking ball to go along with it. He's one of those bright spots that the Phillies are really excited about.
That breaking ball breaks at about 55 feet, and it bounces off of Cameron Rupp. With the win last night, the Marlins at 50-42. They separate themselves from the New York Mets in both the East and in the wild card race. So the Fish have the number 2 wild card spot and the number 2 spot in the East. Miami right now 5.5 behind the Washington Nationals. There's a look at 50-42. So it's the first time they've been 8 over since June of 2012. The last time the Marlins were 9 over, you've got to go back to 2011 in May of that year. That fastball runs in. Of course, you've got Tom Hallion, he of the chainsaw, called strike 3. Obviously, as a hitter, Preston, you like to avoid that.
Yeah, you don't like it when it's you up there, but it is kind of entertaining watching.
That is smoked into left field, and Real Muto with a solid single. JT coming in and on base of 346. A batting average at 313. So he's quite comfortable in that leadoff spot.
Well, you see where the catcher wanted that ball. Looked like it was more middle away. That ball runs back in, and JT does a great job pulling the hands through. And you said it, he smoked that thing in the left field.
The first 3 hitters in the Marlins order all are in the top 10 in batting in the National League. Martin Prado the highest at 4th with a .320 average. You see the on-base percentage at .370. And Prado takes in. And, of course, Prado himself on the post-game show on Marlins Live told Jessica Blaylock last night he had some rough at-bats. But the one thing he was thinking about in the 11th inning is don't let those at-bats affect this at-bat. And, of course, he homered in the 11th, and the Marlins won the game 3-2. I guess a short memory in this game is pretty important.
Yeah, you do. Sometimes you have to just be able to forget about it and look forward to the next one. When you dwell on the bad at-bats, that situation tends to linger. When you look forward to the next one, always got to be looking for something good to happen.
This was the next one for Prado.
Yeah, that's one as soon as it hits the wood, you know, there's no doubt about it. You know it, everybody in the ballpark knows it. That's that good feeling, that click, Rich.
Velasquez is tough to run on. Just one stolen base allowed. And a fastball for a strike. It's 2-1. Only 2 stolen base attempts against him. And you can see where that pitch was a little bit in, although pitch number 2, which was called a ball, looked like it caught a piece of the plate. Not a big lead by Real Muto. Prado a liner to center. Herrera lines it up and makes the catch. That ball well hit. Auto Nation gets you the scouting report for Vince Velasquez.
Well, he defends his house. He pitches well at home. 4-1 with a 1.5 ERA here in Philly. He's got late life. You see that good late darting movement on the fastball. Really got good sink to it. In 2010, that speaks for itself. Tommy John surgery.
Yelich now. 1 for 5 last night, but that double in the 9th was enormous. And he takes a strike. Now the Marlins have only seen Velasquez twice in both of those starts this year. Yelich 2 for 5 with a home run against him. He's the only Marlin to homer against Velasquez. Sends a ground ball in the hole at short. Galvis, it's bobbled. Was it a transfer or not? And the second base umpire, Adam Hamari, is saying out on the transfer rule. Real Muto lingered around the bag. And obviously the Marlins are going to look at it, and we'll see if he was taking the ball out of the glove when it came out.
This was going to be close.
Ooh.
I don't know if the ball actually stopped. I think it just popped out of there. See, I don't know.
And I think the Marlins are going to challenge it. Now from behind is the best look, and here's the look from behind.
The ball never stops. Ball never stops.
I'm with you. I don't think it was ever in his glove. And you can't fault Hamari, the second base umpire, because he saw the first 2 looks that we saw.
Right.
He was on the inside of the diamond. The ball disappears in the glove and then emerges as the hand comes out. But from that view, it looked like the ball never stuck in the glove. It just bounced right out. However, always keep in mind the original call, you've got to have complete evidence that it's 100% wrong. If you got that clear and concise, then you can overturn it. Now the neighborhood play might be in play here too. Let's see where his feet are, because they can look at all of this. That's close too. So you might have a transfer and you might have the neighborhood play, which infielders used to get the benefit of the doubt.
It looked like his foot might have been on the base, but I'm more concerned with the transfer. If the ball has to stop, and I don't think the ball actually stopped in his glove. I think it just rattled around in there.
It's a big call, obviously. It would put runners first and second for a Stanton at bat.
And it never even touched his throwing hand. It came right out of the glove. It never touched the throwing hand. So it's not like he grabbed it with his throwing hand and dropped it.
Wow.
Wow. Oh.
That's amazing. And Mattingly's not happy. Obviously, it's not with the umpires here, but with the umpires back in Chelsea Piers in New York. So the Marlins lose their challenge early in this ball game, and Stanton digs in with 2 outs and a runner at first. Stanton takes a breaking ball out, and it's 1-0. Well, from the view we saw at center field, it never looked like the ball really entered the glove. It just deflected out. Here's a 1-0. But again, the importance of the original call. You have to 100% feel that that call was wrong. And Yelich diving back in. Stanton a base hit last night, though that hardly does it justice, because the ball that he hit last night was what, 114 or something off the bat. Into right field, it was 114, a liner into right.
He is taking some aggressive, confident swings now.
Seems to have a little more movement in his hands.
Well, everything is just more on time. You know, he's a little bit looser up there, got a little waggle going, but more than anything, he's down in time to recognize and react. And that makes all the, because you in essence, you almost slow the ball down.
Count full 3-2. And that'll start Yelich from first. Marcell Ozuna's on deck. Yelich runs and Stanton fouls it off. 97 with that fastball. A lot of strikeouts for this youngster. 93 of them in 15 starts.
He's averaging over 10.5 per 9 innings.
Stanton swings and misses. And Velasquez gets the strikeout. The Marlins are done in the first. Jose Urena gets the baseball next. in Philadelphia. Let's do some lineups, shall we? Some Phillies lineups. Bull's Barbecue's out in right field. Preston was out there a few years ago. UL Sports Medicine brings you the Phillies lineup.
Let's take a look at these Phils. Odubel Herrera leading off. Peter Bourjos batting second. Maikel Franco third. Cameron Rupp fourth. Tommy Joseph with the home run last night. He's batting fifth. Cody Ashe with that great diving play. Freddie Galvis seventh. Cesar Hernandez eighth. And Vince Velasquez hitting .240 as a pitcher, batting ninth.
Jose Urena. Marlins are looking for a solution in that 5 spot in the rotation. And they've gone a while, just the games before the All-Star break and the games after the All-Star break, with an extra position player, which has helped them. But that spot comes up now, and Urena gets the start. And Herrera takes a fastball for a strike. Peter Bourjos, Maikel Franco right behind. So Odubel Herrera. And Urena, his first start of the season in the big leagues. He made 16 relief appearances, 10 starts in New Orleans with an ERA right about 4. His career numbers. He does have 2 wins in the big leagues. Herrera active in the leadoff spot, 369 on base, and he's done some damage, a .418 slugging percentage, 10 homers, 12 doubles. Pulls it on the ground. Dietrich goes to get it, flips over to Johnson in time to get the out. Oh, you gotta love Pats. Chinos will be asking for equal time now. Southwest brings you the Marlins defense. Yelich, Ozuna, Stanton, Pronto, and Johnson on the corners. Echeverria, Dietrich up the middle, and Real Muto behind the plate. We will throw out our ceremonial first email here momentarily. Peter Bourjos steps in. Real Muto working with Urena tonight. And here is our first email of the night. This is from Mary in Lake City, Florida. I am disappointed. I was born and raised in Philly, and like other Philadelphia people, I am proud of our ballpark. To right field, Stanton goes back. At the track, he reaches up and makes the catch up against the wall. You guys have not toured Citizens Bank Park like you did with other parks this year. Mary, we love you. Just wait till Thursday. We traditionally do that on the last game of a series. And so Jessica Blaylock will be stopping by Tony Luke's. Maybe the crab fries at Chicky and Pete's. Jessica, now you've been around this ballpark before.
I have, and that is one of my favorite things about coming to this ballpark is the food. The Federal donuts and fried chicken. I haven't had a chance to try the garlic crab fries yet. I hope to knock that out in this trip. So I love coming to Philly because I love to eat, and this ballpark has incredible food.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was probably 3 years ago. Preston, you were with us, and you toured just about every eatery during a game.
I did. I ate everything in this ballpark except thank you, please come again.
So, Mary, you just wait. We love this ballpark, too, and we'll, on Thursday night, do it right and do you proud. How's that? Franco. And there's Tom Hallion with the first called strike 3 of the night. A 1-2-3 start for Urena, leaving Franco frozen at the plate. There you go. Hallion, who is the home plate umpire and crew chief, he was on the headsets with New York on that review of the play at second, and he and Don Mattingly had the discussion. And you couldn't read lips, but you could see the expression on Hallion's face. And Mattingly was cool to this, and that is, it was the call in New York, and that was ruled as a call stands. And the ruling from New York was that the replay official could not definitively determine that the fielder failed to demonstrate that he was turning the glove in an attempt to remove the ball. So the call stands. And that call goes the Phillies' way. The Marlins lose their challenge. And Marcell Ozuna stands in with a count 1-1. So there you have it. It call stands. Wasn't enough evidence to overturn it. Derek Dietrich, Chris Johnson also coming up. Ozuna swings and misses. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. I would love at some point in the replay process, maybe a year or 2 down the road, and the technology is there. Here's the 2-2. Fastball, a swing and a miss. You would love to get the replay official from New York actually on camera and give a little 20-second, 25-second explanation of the call. Here's what I saw. Here's what I didn't see. Here's why I made the call that I made. 2 things. You would know which umpire made the call, and number 2, everybody would get a clearer picture of why that umpire made that call.
I think that's what's missing in this process is the fans a lot of times have no idea what the call was or why the call was either upheld or stands because they don't get an explanation.
That's a strike on Dietrich on a check swing. Dan Bellino working down at third base. And the count's 0-1. I guess rudimentary, you could put an explanation up on the scoreboard.
Yes.
But why not take a step towards the NFL or the NBA or the NHL and actually announce it or broadcast it to fans in the ballpark and fans watching on television?
I was just thinking the NFL does a really good job of explaining the call after they go and do a review.
Dietrich an 0 for 4 last night. Hit the ball hard twice. And Tom Hallion rings him up. We check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, a beautiful night here in Philadelphia for another road edition of a Twitter and email Tuesday driven by Ford. And tonight we're just going to keep it simple. We want you to use the hashtag TwitterTuesday on all of your tweets and emails. Send your tweets to @FoxMarlins. Those emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com. And Preston, some of the tweets I'm already seeing are to wish you a very happy birthday, and I would like to do that as well. Happy birthday, Preston.
Thanks, Jess. And thank all you people out there for sending me all the birthday wishes. I know I couldn't reply to all of them, but I really appreciate it and thank you very much.
You know, we had a really nice birthday celebration planned for you. But then we realized there was a game tonight. Johnson takes down low. Chris Johnson getting the start at first base. Vince Velasquez, as Preston pointed out, he's piled up strikeouts. His strikeout rate over 10 per 9 innings, and that's high. And it's significant in Phillies history. Since 1900, the Phillies have had one starting pitcher make at least 20 starts and finish the season at or above 10.50 strikeouts per 9 innings. Curt Schilling in '97. And Velasquez is at 10.64. So if he keeps this pace, he's going to join Schilling, the only 2 guys to do that. Pitch is up. And Johnson walks. By the way, speaking of strikeouts, an addendum to Jose Fernandez's night last night. 14 strikeouts. He passed the 500 mark. We told you at the time that Fernandez, the 3rd fastest to get to 500 strikeouts in terms of number of starts, behind only Dwight Gooden and Yu Darvish. If you go by starting pitchers and innings, he's the fastest. 400th career inning. He just outdistanced Darvish, who did it in 401 2/3. Etch takes in Johnson, a 4-pitch walk. 2 outs here in the second. And Echeverria pops it in shallow right. Borges is there, and he makes the catch. Velasquez looks tough. A scoreless start in Philly. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Look into Citizens Bank Park on a gorgeous evening in Philly. The heat that was here is starting to abate just a bit. And Jose Urena worked a nice and tidy first inning. He gets Cameron Rupp, Tommy Joseph, and Cody Ashe. And a fastball misses into Rupp, who was 1 for 4 last night. The burly catcher getting the bulk of the time. The 2 war horses are the Phillies. Carlos Ruiz and Ryan Howard not getting much playing time of late. With Rupp behind the plate, Joseph getting the bulk of the games at first base. And you see Rupp has been hot of late, and he takes a strike. All right, you ready for some more emails and tweets, my friend?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
All right. Rich and Preston. What would you say to the strategy of the Marlins instead of trading for a 5th starter, trading for another reliever, shortening the starter's outing by adding another inning in the pen? They kind of did that with Fernando Rodney, which pushed the bullpen further towards the 5th inning, so to speak. But you know, that's kind of the strategy that the Marlins played out over the last 2 weeks when they didn't find what they wanted in a starter or a deal for a starter, was to go get Rodney. You like that strategy, Preston?
I think it could work, but you have to be careful of how much workload that bullpen is getting, because you're going to have to start asking guys to pitch multiple days in a row. And not very many teams have done it well. Kansas City did it successfully. Some say the Yankees right now have a good thing going with Betances, Miller, and Chapman. But it's just hard to find that mix. But I do, you know, that's an option. If you can't get a starter, then why not go that route?
This is as deep and as talented as the Marlins bullpen has been in a long time. And Urena misses to Tommy Joseph. Joseph is off to a good start. He hit his 12th home run last night in his 48th career game. And that's the fastest a Phillies rookie has ever reached 12 home runs in franchise history. He's only the 4th player to hit 12 homers in his first 48 games as a Philly, and he's a rookie. And how about these Philly names that he joins? Raul Ibanez, remember, had that great run here. Pete Incaviglia and Lefty O'Doul.
Wow. Lefty O'Doul.
Urena bounces that one up. It's 2-2.
By the way, Rich, Urena's throwing really hard. He started out about 93, 94. I've seen him hit 98 tonight. Wow.
Well, the internal scouting report on him is when he's down in the zone, he's really, really good. The key for him is keeping the ball from the belt buckle down. Breaking ball misses out.
That's a pitch he's going to have to throw and have to get the respect of the hitters with, because he needs that third pitch that they actually have to honor.
Pitch is in. And so Joseph on his way down to first base. Place your deposits on a 2017 season ticket plan today. Guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game in Miami. Don't miss your chance to secure seats for this once-in-a-generation event and all the All-Star Week activities. Deposits start at just $250. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/season tickets. Ed wants to know, what's the update on Justin Bour? First, this. Out at second, safe at first. Cody Ashe avoids the double play. Tommy Joseph is erased at second. And the update on Justin Bour is he's still in the process of rehabbing a high ankle sprain, which is different than a normal ankle sprain, more problematic. And he really has yet to fly full speed into baseball activity. So it could be a while longer before the Marlins get Bour back. Here is Galvis.
Well, right now it's just all about trying to stay as engaged as you can for Justin Bour, because even when you're not on the field, there are things you can do. You can pick up habits, you can pick up tendencies, you can get an understanding of what's going on sometimes a little better when you're not in that fight, when you're not, scrapping to get a hit. You tend to be able to see the game in a lot broader view, and it helps you get a little bit of perspective. Nobody ever likes being injured, but you can use them the right way and get something positive out of it.
That one fouled up into the seats from Galvis. 0 for 2 last night was Galvis. Phillies got an early run against Jose Fernandez. That Herrera double set the table in the first, and then Joseph homered late in the ball game just before Jose came out. That was a 7th inning homer. Hard on the ground and into right field. Stanton approaches it, has it. Ashe to third, and Stanton keeps Galvis at first. And the Phillies now at the corners. Cesar Hernandez coming up.
Stanton is playing an impressive right field right now. His range has been so good. He's looked so comfortable going back on balls, coming in on balls. Does a great job of intercepting this ball. Doesn't let it get by him. Keeps Galvis at first. It's fun to see a healthy Giancarlo Stanton play right field.
And in St. Louis, he made some terrific catches and plays going away. Pitch misses in from Urena. Hernandez was 0 for 3 last night. Gold Glove finalist 2 years ago was Stanton. And Real Muto doesn't like what he sees, and he's on his way out to talk to Urena. He's 2-0 with Hernandez, a .280 hitter. As you pointed out, Velasquez, the pitcher, can swing the bat as well. Very athletic pitcher is Velasquez. A lot of emails and tweets about the Marlins rotation. That's a strike. 97. A lot of happy birthdays to you, Preston. Vinny DeLucia. Sorry about that, Vinny. Maybe it's DeLucia. Says happy birthday to Preston. How's Cozart coming along? Jared Cozart is finally healthy. Talked to Michael Hill a couple days about him. Now it's just a matter of him pitching well enough to get promoted. That was a nasty changeup at 91 miles an hour.
Yeah, when your changeup is 91, life's pretty good, Rich.
And you can locate it like that and get a guy to chase. So he's 3-2. Galvis will move from first. Ashe is at third. And that ball lifted down the left field line and out of play. Yeah, Jared Cozart had some side issues. Those are done with now, and he's pitching in New Orleans. And now it's up to him to pitch well enough to get another shot here in the big leagues. And happy birthday from Vinny.
Thanks, Vinny.
It's not your cousin, is he? Runner goes. Chopper. Dietrich dials it in. Oh, that was close. Hernandez gets down the line. Still scoreless in Philly. This day in Major League history, a guy named Cy Young won his 500th. A guy named Louis Tiant had a 4-hit shutout in his Major League debut. Somewhere in Bamberg, South Carolina, a baby cried, and he would go on to have a great Major League career. And then Tony Gwynn got his first Major League hit on this day, on Preston Wilson's birthday. Jose Urena is here. So first of all, happy birthday from all of us here at Fox Sports. The guys in the truck and gals in the truck are way out there.
Thanks, guys.
And I told you we had this big party planned. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Preston Wilson. Happy birthday to you.
All right, let me. Okay. That's pretty nice, guys. Great. Now there's green snot in it now.
The Fanatic, one of our favorites. The Fanatic is here. We love the Fanatic.
This is 2 years in a row you got me. You know that, right?
Very nice. Some birthday cupcakes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I remember.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Hey, save that. Okay, so this is the thing I remember, Rich. Whenever they do the lineups and I'm coming out on the field, he always had me like this, like walking out like my chip. Yeah.
Hey, Fanatic, got a question for you. Jose Fernandez steal your keys again? Well, look, we appreciate the fact that you're such a good sport that you came up to wish Preston Wilson a happy birthday.
Yes, thank you.
And, you know, come to think of it, though, there were 5 cupcakes. 5 cupcakes. And now there's just 4.
Are they in there?
You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. Love it. Look at the green fur in his mouth.
That little party favor went in my mouth.
Hold on. Real Muto at the plate. And that's a check swing strike. And the count is 1-2. Real Muto smoked a ball to the left. My partner Preston Wilson is still digging green fuzzies out of his beak there, so to speak. 1 out, scoreless game. We got cupcakes in the booth.
I really wish I had my mouth closed when he kissed me.
So, in terms of birthday celebrations, where does that one rate?
Oh, that one's great, man. Anytime I can have the Philly Fanatic, you know, help me celebrate my birthday, it's always good. I remember being in this, well, not in this ballpark, in Veterans Stadium as a kid, watching him perform, driving that four-wheeler around the turf, hopping over the mounds. Then I got to play on a field when he was performing, and now I'm in the booth. You know, it's kind of quite the journey.
2-2. And Real Muto, good take. Count is 3-2. Your thoughts so far on Vince Velasquez?
As advertised, good stuff. A lot of life on the fastball. Haven't really seen too many good breaking balls yet, but he's got that.
Yeah, first time through the order, he's got 4 strikeouts. And it's 3-2 to Real Muto. That tails in. That's a really nice take. It's one of the things in talking to folks around the Marlins, Frank Menachino in particular. The next step for a lot of these guys that are hitting 300 is a little more discipline and a few more walks.
Yeah, that's a big thing, is to be able to have those at-bats where you don't swing yourself out of an at-bat.
And I think we just saw one of those with Real Muto.
We've seen Ozuna make that transition, going better with that.
Prado seems to be walking a little bit more of late. He lined out back in the first inning. And a strike to Martin.
I think Barry Bonds has done a great job of helping translate and communicate what patience really is and how to go about it. I think everyone has gotten a little better at it in the lineup.
Prado rolls that one up the middle. Oh, what a turn! Hernandez from Galvis. And Real Muto's slide was right on top of him. Watch this. Greater coverage of baseball. News and notes from around baseball. Terry Ryan, his 44-year run with the Twin ends. Mike Leake and the Cardinals bounce back. They hammered the Padres 10-2. And A-Rod ended a 15-game homerless drought as the Yankees topped the Orioles by a score of 2-1. Vince Velasquez takes a fastball, and it's a ball and a strike. Jose Urena working here in the bottom of the third. And Velasquez gets a piece. It's 1-2. Oh, look at that. Now he's thirsty after eating the cupcake, your cupcake. He needs a beer. I will say that's his. I think he just had that his fur dry clean because he didn't smell that badly.
You know what? I think it was I think he's got a fresh costume. You know, maybe it's recently gotten clean because on these hot, sweaty days.
Yeah. What do you mean costume? I think he just went to the Fanatic Salon.
Might be.
Velasquez strikes out. 3 strikeouts first time through for Urena. Odubel Herrera coming up. So a variety of emails and tweets about the rotation. Luis wants to know why not use David Phelps as a 5th starter and bring up an arm like Ellington back to the bullpen. I think the Marlins don't want to mess with what they've got in the pen right now. But certainly that's an option that they have considered. Fred from Fort Lauderdale, big Marlins fan. Aside from Jose Fernandez and Adam Conley, the rest of the starting pitching has been disappointing. So Fred's disappointed in the rotation after Fernandez and Conley. Fred said you probably won't even read this because you haven't read one of my emails in the last 7 years.
You know what, Fred? Thank you for your persistence. And you know what? We're reading it right now.
Fred, we did touch upon that this weekend, the fact that the Marlins in the second half would like a better second half from Wei-Yin Chen and from Tom Kohler. And Fernandez has been obviously Jose. Adam Conley has been really nice. And those are the ERAs among the Marlins starters. Fred, we appreciate you. And you know what, Fred? I'm sorry that I haven't been able to get to one of your emails in the last 7 years. Up the middle and through Urania into center. And it's a base hit. So Odubel Herrera is aboard. Peter Borges is coming up.
Good sinking fastball. He just does a good job of not trying to do too much with it. Just stays with it right back up the box, gets himself a knock.
First base has been a topic tonight as well, as Borges climbs in. Mark wants to know, why won't the Marlins consider playing Stanton or Ichiro at first base until Justin Bour is back? When a lefty is pitching, you get Ichiro's bat in there. He hits better against lefties and righties, though he hits them both well. Well, look, Mark, one thing happens in 9 days if Bour is not back, and that is D. Gordon walks through the door. And while Don Mattingly has said that Gordon is not just going to walk in and be handed the keys to the car and thrown right in and get everything like it was when he left. Mattingly says he wants to blend him back into the rotation, into the lineup. What it does do, though, when Gordon is eligible to play on the 28th of the month, is that man who has played first can slide over and play first base, especially against right-handed pitching.
I think that's a very nice option for Mattingly to have.
0-2. To third, Prado. Dietrich's turn is not in time. Good speed by Borges. He really gets down the line quickly. And so there's 2 outs. Jake wants to know, I know it's a tough decision, but for each of you, who was the best player in a Marlins uniform in the first half of the season? Who's your first half MVP?
I have to go with Marcell Ozuna.
I'm right there with you. I'm especially in the absence of Giancarlo. When Stanton was slumping, Ozuna helped keep that offense rolling enough to keep the team just above 500. The truck, our crack staff included, is going to nominate the man behind the plate, JT Real Muto, and that's a really good choice. I think a guy that hasn't received enough notice, both locally and nationally, for the season that he's having. And many feel that he's just scratching the surface. Bouncer to third. Prado across the diamond in time. And Jose Urania, so far so good on a scoreless night in Philly. This is fun. Citizens Bank Park for the Phillies and the Fish on a Tuesday night, game 2 of a 4-game series. Emails and tweets tonight. Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, and Marcell Ozuna for the Fish. Yelich hit that controversial ground ball. The play at second, the Marlins challenged that the ball was never in Cesar Hernandez's glove. The call was out. And after review, the call stood, with the umpires in New York explaining they did not have conclusive evidence that the ball did not make it in and come out in the transfer, or that come out not in the transfer. And so the Marlins lost their challenge. Yelich cranks one right field, way out of here, up into the Marlins bullpen. My goodness, young man, get a hold of one. That's an 0-2 pitch, and Yelich hits his 8th. With his mom in the stands, a good night to go deep.
Wow, that's big boy territory where he hit that ball. Hey, look at this swing, nice. That's the Christian Yelich we're used to seeing. Nice short stride, very effortless swing. But man, when he gets a hold of one, whew, that's big time right there. That's Stanton territory where he hit that ball.
That is. And here is Stanton, a fastball from Velasquez for strike 1. So you see Yelich in this ballpark. Breaking ball misses outside to Stanton.
Stanton has had some really good swings on fastballs tonight. If Velasquez makes a pitch out over the plate enough where he can get extended, he may lose one as well. I think Velasquez may be able to beat him inside, but if he leaves it over the plate, it's trouble.
That one inside. Velasquez kind of has that power changeup too at 90-91 that fades down and into righties.
Kind of like Henderson Alvarez had.
Henderson Alvarez, and he patterned it after King Felix in Seattle. Sawed him off. Look out. And Ozuna almost got hit by the business end of that bat. Looks like everybody's okay. Stanton is out. And this reminder, group sales for Marlins tickets, and a great way to bring your group to the ballpark. You get group pricing and seating, and you have all the cool things you can go after. You got the burger and beer package, the beer fest, all you can eat seats, kids eat free Wednesdays. 1-877-Marlins, or go to marlins.com. There's Yelly. Mom's here. All good. Ozuna. He swings and misses. Ozuna strikeout back in the second. 447 feet for Yelich, and that's the second time that he's homered against Velasquez. .111 miles an hour off the bat. Two and one.
That's a good take right there. Lay off that power change. Ozuna looks really comfortable this at bat.
Pitches in and Ozuna walks. So we told you it was the second homer that he's hit off of Velasquez. This is in Miami, and watch where this one lands.
Well, there's something about Vince Velasquez he likes.
Here's Dietrich now. So a 1-0 start for Miami. Velasquez gives up his 10th homer of the season. And a strike. Dietrich trying to do two things: look at the signs, get settled in the box, and not get surprised by Velasquez. Here's the 1-1. And that, quite frankly, is the new protocol for hitters in the pace of play, is keep a foot in the box, take the sign, and you can see Dietrich, Tom Hallion also monitoring. Out to short, Galvis to first, and that's a double play. Second double play for the Phillies, but the first run for Miami is a mammoth home run, 447 feet from Christian Yelich. It's 1-0. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Coral Springs Auto Mall, across from the Coral Square Mall. We make it easy. And by Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. Christian Yelich, 447 feet, according to StatCast, in a 1-0 lead. Jose Urena back to work. Urena gets Cameron Rupp. Prado, so smooth and accurate. And one out here in the fourth inning. So there's an out. And this legal reminder on Preston's birthday. The copyrighted telecast you're watching is presented by the authority of the Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins or the Fanatic, who presented Preston with birthday cupcakes and a big green furry kiss. And that little thing that pops out.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, Rich. My mouth. I wasn't ready. My mouth was open, and that little fuzzy, that little party favor thing. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Here is Tommy Joseph, and Joseph takes down low. Maxwell tweets in. Ureña's arm is live today. Don't remember from starts last year, but was he always able to stay above 95 throughout a start? Pulled foul. Well, you remarked that the velocity at 97 and then 98 as well piqued your interest. That is crushed, and that's going into orbit. Upper deck. Tommy Joseph has made a real impact for the Phillies. 13 home runs in just his 49th game. Channeling his inner Pat Burrell.
Yeah, he is. Wow. Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, that's where it landed up there. Joseph, who battled concussions for a couple of years in the minor leagues, to the point of not being able to play at all. And he was left off the 40-man roster this offseason, so he was exposed. But, you know, for a guy that hadn't played much with concussions for 2 years, not many teams were willing to take a shot at him. He came over in that Hunter Pence deal. And he was one of the names, maybe the key piece. I'll tell you what, he caught all of that one. That is a StatCast look up, if ever there was one. The launch angle on that homer was 34 degrees. By comparison, Yelich's was 24 degrees. Dietrich gathers it in and gets the out in a 1-1 game. And Joseph's homer went 422 feet into that upper deck. So Ashe is out, and here's Freddie Galvis. My batch of goodies. That is a Twitter handle. Says Ozuna first half MVP. Have you not been watching the same games? What about Yelich and his outfield clutch hitting, defensive play? No question that Yelich is in that discussion. And remember, the crack staff lobbed some votes Real Muto's way. You can put Prado in that discussion. And therein lies the strength, I think, of the Marlins in the first half and right now, is the variety of contributions from up and down the lineup. Dietrich gets there. We thank you for your tweet, my batch of goodies. Long homer by Tommy Joseph ties it 1-1. for Miami Marlins baseball. In Philly, 5th inning, 1-1. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, it is a Twitter and email Tuesday driven by Ford, and one topic that people are tweeting about is what has impressed them most about the way that the Marlins have been playing so far this season. For Gary, he said the team hustle since early April. They don't take a play off. For Chris, it's the great defense and all the guys that are hitting above 300. And then for Andrew, he says everyone is playing as a team and playing for each other. So, guys, a lot of positives to celebrate about this team so far this season.
Thank you, Jessica. Hey, Jess.
Yes.
Last night it was incredibly hot. And what's the temperature like tonight compared to last night?
It feels like low 80s. This is a beautiful night in Philadelphia. Much cooler tonight than it was yesterday. I'm definitely enjoying this much better.
As we all are. And a throw to first from Freddie Galvis. Johnson is out. No rain today. Yesterday they had this violent rainstorm for about an hour in the afternoon that wiped out batting practice. Tomorrow temperatures low 90s, upper 80s as well. Echeverria 0 for 1. He's popped out. A lot has happened here tonight. Emails and tweets. Lots of birthday wishes to Preston Wilson. A visit from the Fanatic. And a couple of long home runs, Christian Yelich and Tommy Joseph. We've had a couple of people want to know if Stanton can play first. Matt wanted to know, has he ever played first? And I don't ever recall seeing him. I'm sure at some point in his baseball life he has. Our crack staff right now is efforting to find out if Stanton has ever played first either in the majors or the minors. By the way, our baseball historian tonight, Ed Svita, is a personal friend of the Fanatics, and of course known as the rock star of all things statistics. Ken Lee is our critically acclaimed vice president of graphics. Christian Roberts, our director. John Solster, our producer. And Echeverria walks, and that's a handy thing for Urania now, who really struggled at the plate in the third. Now we'll try to bunt Echeverria in the scoring position. And the point we made earlier, and we've had a few emailers and tweets wanting to know, well, if Dietrich plays first, where will Bohr play? The point we made was, if Bohr's ankle is not healthy in the next 9 to 10 days, when D. Gordon comes back, one option that Don Mattingly will have is moving Dietrich over to get some time at first, especially against right-handed starters. That's a nice bunt from Urania. And look at the big guy go. Echeverria is in scoring position.
Very nicely executed. Just the ball down. I mean, this is a ball's kind of tailing in on him. He keeps the barrel above the baseball. Really good technique there. Nice job.
Real Muto now with Echeverria in scoring position. Our research has shown that Stanton never at first in the major leagues.
When you can run that well, they don't like putting you at first base.
Yes. Our research has unearthed an inning in which Stanton played center field in 2011 and had 2 putouts. But I could see what people are thinking. If you could stand at first, Ichiro and right, but And in the minor leagues, no infield at all outfields. And Stanton did play some center field in the minor leagues as well. I believe he played all 3 outfield positions. Marlins did that with their 3 young outfielders coming up. Ozuna did it, Yelich did it, just to make sure that when they got to the big leagues that there were options for getting their bats in the lineup. A walk and a single for Real Muto. Velasquez has slowed his pace. GMC big matchup. All-time hitters against righties. Marlin catchers. John Baker making an appearance tonight. So is Dutch, Pudge, and Mike Redmond. Count 1-2 to Real Muto here. It's 2-2.
See that ball strike ratio for Velasquez. He's been effectively wild.
And he chased. Real Muto couldn't lay off. And Echeverria left out at second base. 1-1 ball game. A good one in Philly tonight. Bottom 5 night falling at Citizens Bank Park. At Marlins Park, Fridays are Firework Fridays. The Mets are coming. Ford presents Puerto Rico Nights. Burgers and beer package just $25. Puerto Rican Heritage Night powered by South Florida Ford. Go to marlins.com/special events. Mets, a weekend series starting this Friday night. Cesar Hernandez with Vince Velasquez and Odubel Herrera. in the air and foul.
I like how under control Urania looks tonight.
A lot of action for Dietrich at second base from those left-handed bats.
Urania's getting that good sink. Ball's diving late. And I just like the way he looks on the mound. He's got a nice presence about him.
That's 6 ground ball outs directed at Dietrich from the left-handed bats of the Phillies. That would be Prado, and Urania pounding the lower half of the strike zone. He's got the changeup working. The one pitch that didn't work was the one Tommy Joseph hit in the second deck. Christian Yelich with a long home run for Miami. And so a 1-1 game with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And Odubel Herrera comes up. Ten ground ball outs.
Like that he got ahead of Herrera right there with an off-speed pitch. Oof. Follow that up with 96 with sink. See that look on Herrera's face right there? That's that what I'm gonna do now look. That's what that look is.
'97 with that fastball. One, two. Herrera bounced to second, singled in the third. Busted bat, another ground ball, 11 ground ball outs. And the last 8 have been on the ground for Jose Urania. Christian Yelich due up second. Oh yeah, happy birthday, Preston Wilson. And those of you wandering around looking for Pokemon, enjoy a ball game, because even the fanatic is in on that. I don't think he found him. 6th inning, Martin Prado, Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, and you saw in that last montage Yelich hitting a 447-foot home run. Prado takes a breaking ball for a strike from Vince Velasquez. Velasquez has been sharp, but boy, Jose Urena has been as well. Urena doing his damage on the ground. That's in the gap. Herrera
A lot of positive to be taken tonight from Urena's performance. He just looked so confident, great poise, kept making pitches, still making pitches. I really like the life on his fastball. It's not just hard, it's hard with movement.
South Florida Honda dealers get you ready tomorrow night. Marlins live at 6:30. Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson. So here's Yelich. He's homered twice against Velasquez in their brief encounters in 7 at-bats. And both have been long ones. Upper tank in right center at Marlins Park and up into the Marlins bullpen here tonight. Tom Hallion doesn't give Velasquez that corner, and it's 2-0. Stanton on deck in a 1-1 game. Yelich, a slicing liner that Herrera will run down. And there's 2 outs. Laura from Orlando. Marlins fan since day one. Why wasn't Fox Tracks used during the All-Star game? Happy birthday, Preston. Fox, Big Fox, oftentimes does not use Fox Tracks, which sounds funny since it's Fox Tracks. But we're happy to use it. Here is Stanton. And a pitch misses inside. Sarah from Pensacola. Sarah asks, since the managers challenge and replay, there have been fewer ejections of managers. Do you miss that part of the game? And also, glad to have Preston announcing tonight. We love his enthusiasm, his insight, his expertise, and he looks sharp in a polo. And that's from Sarah in Pensacola. Here's a 1-1. Do you miss the manager get in the face of the umpire?
Not one bit. I don't miss that at all. I don't miss all the theatrics that went along with it. I think, you know, sometimes it was needed, but there's a lot of times where it took up way too much time.
And I like the fact that they're getting the calls right, or at least attempting to. Now the guy behind the pole there, Larry Boa, when he managed here in Philly, there were some confrontations. Sometimes between Boa and his players.
Oh, yeah.
Stanton fouls that one out of play.
Yeah, Larry Boa was not afraid to address you right on the field. You could hear from the dugout some of the meetings he had with pitchers when he'd go out there to the mound.
Stanton battling here, full count. Velasquez against Giancarlo. Fastball cracked to short. Backing up is Galvis, and he gets him by half a step. 1-2-3 inning for Vince Velasquez. 1-1 to the bottom of the 6th. Toyota Inside Look, presented by the new 2016 Toyota RAV4. For the Phillies, good in April. May they slipped. And then June and July. The Phillies have bounced back and played better. You can see the ERA, probably the key stat in determining the Phillies' factor this year. They don't have a great offense, but they have a young rotation with talented arms. Bullpen that pitched well in April. Arena bounces one into the dirt. Pete McCannon, second season as a Phillies manager. He was named as the interim manager when Ryan Sandberg was let go mid-season last year. That's a soft serve into right field, in trouble for Dietrich. He'll pick it up, and Borges has a bloop single.
Not hit very hard, but perfectly placed. Just over the outstretched arms of Dietrich, and a little bit too shallow for Stanton to come get it.
First leadoff man aboard for the Phillies. And now Franco, who has struck out twice. That is a big rip. Three strikeouts, a walk for Urena. And here in the bottom of the sixth, he's 82 pitches in. David Phelps is up.
They don't know how much longer Urena is going to be in there. In his 10 minor league starts, he only went 5 innings 3 times. So trying to get that pitch count up, stretching him out. And he's at 83 right now.
Oh, 2. Yeah, Tom Hallion lets one rip. And that is strike 3 called.
When you punch out 3 times, that's kind of the last thing you want to hear is somebody yelling at you. You kind of want to yell back at him.
There is Cameron Rupp. Now, we've been reading emails and tweets from a Marlins perspective. After the game last night, there was a fan. Remember the sequence in that 9th inning when Genmar Gomez was having trouble in that Giancarlo Stanton at bat, and had Rupp moving out to chat with him. I think he went out 3 times. Rupp swings and misses. There was a tweet directed at Rupp and his Twitter handle that said, Cameron Rupp absolutely killed the momentum and the crowd. Gomez had momentum going, and Rupp ran out to the mound. What a boneheaded move. And that was from a Phillies fan. And Rupp answered and said, hey man, by all means, if you want to call pitches, I'll look for you during the game and we'll see how good you are.
think he struck a nerve right there, Rich.
Well, I thought Rupp handled it pretty well.
Yeah, you know, sometimes.
And Gomez was wobbling. I mean, it's not easy to talk a guy through a Stanton at bat, especially with the game on the line. And remember, Gomez fired one to the screen in that at bat. 0-2. Urena misses down low.
98 again. And it looks like it's coming out easy. I mean, he does fall off to the first base side, but it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of extra effort to try to get to 97 or 98. It just comes out clean.
Stacy of South Florida Hi, Stacy. Happy birthday, Preston, she says. Are there plans in progress for a celebration if Ichiro reaches, or when Ichiro reaches 3,000 hits? And will efforts be made for him to reach the milestone at Marlins Park? Well, the second question, the answer is no. There's no plans to manipulate the at-bats or the playing time for him to reach it at Marlins Park. But yeah, there will be a celebration, certainly. And even if he does it on the road, whichever ballpark he gets to 3,000, that is such a milestone that the game will be stopped. I'm sure there will be a tribute on the board. That one is pulled foul. I mean, you think about the 3,000 hits that were reached on the road. I think Rose was at home, right, in Montreal?
Yes. Tony Gwynn was on the road.
Gwynn was on the road.
Yes.
There's your all-time hit leader list. I mean, Ichiro's playing time has dwindled, quite honestly, because the outfielders have been healthy. Remember, he got some starts when Ozuna's wrist was sore. He got some starts when Yelich's back was sore. B, he got some starts when Stanton was slumping and he was taken out of games just for maintenance and mental days off. And he got a couple starts in Detroit with DH games. The starts he's been getting lately have been day games after night games to give an off day to an outfielder. Ozuna, who went to the All-Star game, by all accounts of the Marlins staff, needed an off day, got it, and Ichiro had 3 hits on Sunday in St. Louis. It's been a 9-pitch at bat, and it arrives at a 3-2 count.
And we all love seeing Ichiro play, but the fact of the matter is, if he's playing a lot, all is not well with the Marlins lineup.
Yeah, and look, Don Mattingly's got more important things to do than try to figure out how to get Ichiro at home for 3,000. The obvious goal is win games. A swing and a miss, and the throw down to second, kicks into center field. And Borges on his way to third. He's 90 feet away. There are 2 outs. A strikeout of Rupp.
This one just, JT held on to that one a little bit too long. Yanked it. Dietrich couldn't quite pick it up.
So that brings Joseph to the plate. He's walked and hit a mammoth homer. But yes, and here's Don Mattingly on his way out to the mound to finish the Ichiro story. Wherever Ichiro sets the milestone, gets to 3,000, there will be a ceremony. And we will be happy to bring it to you on Fox Sports Florida, wherever it may be. Mattingly's discussion with Urania. And he's going to go to the pen. So Phelps is ready. Urania terrific tonight for 5 2/3. And Phelps is going to have to try to get Tommy Joseph out. And this is a Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. A Wednesday showdown brought to you by La Lechonera. That would be Wei-Yin Chen. He'll take aim at the Phillies. Jeremy Hellickson for the Phils. Marlins Live starts it at 6:30 tomorrow. If the Marlins get out of Wei-Yin Chen what they've gotten out of Jose Urena tonight, they'll be quite happy. There's your score. It's 1-1. The Philly skyline lit up. Look at the bottom line there. 72 pitches of 95 and above. And Juan Nieves couldn't be happier. 1 earned run. He is responsible, though, for that runner at third base in Borges. Tommy Joseph, the only blemish so far on Urena's line. That came in at 95 and above, and it left at 100 and above.
And as far as he hit that ball, Christian Yelich outdistanced his home run by 25 feet.
Hey, you're right. Yelich was at 447.
447.
David Phelps now, a 2.83 ERA. He's been plagued by a few long balls lately at inopportune times. Gave up a couple of runs on that Friday night in St. Louis. The Marlins came back and won that ball game.
The one pitch that he's had trouble with, he's been giving up the long ball on, has been the cutter. Sometimes that cutter, if it doesn't really cut, it just becomes a bad fastball. And guys have taken some pretty good swings at him.
That was a good fastball there at 96 with a little bit of run to it. It's 1-2. Well, opportunity is there for whoever grabs it, and that's at the back end of Miami's rotation.
You know, sometimes when you get that new pitch, you kind of tend to fall in love with it, and I think maybe Phelps is see, that was a cutter right there at 91. I think Phelps has got to make sure that he mixes in enough of those 96, 95 miles an hour fastballs to go with those cutters.
Chris wants to know on a Twitter Tuesday if he can get a shout out for Roy. And just a reminder, Chris, we don't do personal greetings. So if you want to say hi to Roy, we can't do that. No shout outs. 1-2. Oh, wow. Real Muto right away knew that it was do or die. And he sold out early on that one. Watch this.
Good job angling his body, getting in front of that ball. See how he gets out in front? That's a great job. Yeah. That's a big time play. That's something that he's had to work on. He's gotten better at. And quite frankly, last year, I don't know if he blocks that ball.
And one of the reasons he's had to work at that, he's a shortstop by instinct. Was a high school shortstop, didn't catch really until he got to the minor leagues. So as a shortstop, a lot of times you can backhand the ball. You don't necessarily want to get your whole body in front of it like that. It's a totally different mechanic behind the plate. 3-2. Oh, got him. Tom Hallion lets her rip, and David Phelps strikes out Tommy Joseph. Look at pitch number 7.
This looks like a 93 miles an hour cutter that he starts at Joseph a little bit.
Still 1-1.
We have a tied ball game in the 7th inning. It is a Twitter and email Tuesday driven by Ford. Keep sending in those tweets and emails using the hashtag Twitter Tuesday. Tweets can go to @FoxMarlins. Your emails can go to foxmarlins@gmail.com. And guys, we got this question from Steve, who wants to know, with the Marlins' success this season, how much do you attribute that to the addition of Don Mattingly? What do you think?
I think a lot of it has to do with Don Mattingly. I think a lot of it has to do with Don Mattingly and the entire coaching staff. I mean, if you take, look, the players deserve credit without question. If you take last year's team and this year's team, the biggest difference personnel-wise is manager, coaching staff. With some of the coaches from last year here, Ozuna takes out, and some health, overall health. But I just look, last year what the Marlins went through on the field as a team and in the clubhouse with all the upheaval, that's impossible and tough on a veteran player, not just a young player. And so you get the stability of Mattingly. You get the experience of Tim Wallach. You get Barry Bonds in here. You keep Frank Menachino, who's done a really nice job. You get Juan Nieves, who has been a pitching coach for a world champion in Boston.
I think one of the unsung heroes is Tim Wallach, handling the bench coach duties. Really intelligent, knows the game. And really, that's your manager's best friend right there, your bench coach.
I'll tell you, the other guy in that shot has been a really nice addition. That's Brian Schneider. You saw that block by Real Muto, which saved the run and kept it at 1-1. Schneider's been the guy that has really worked hard with Real Muto this year. 3-1 pitch. Ozuna busts his bat. And there is out number 1. So Vince Velasquez ventures into the 7th. Derek Dietrich and Chris Johnson are due up. All right, other emails and tweets. Andrew has asked us, when will Brian Morris be back? And talk about how deep the Marlins bullpen is right now. And remember, they've lost a couple of power arms. Morris, who has had, I believe, a back surgery and back issues. And we hope that his rehab is going well. Dietrich, after the first pitch, sends it into center. That's a big loss. A guy like Brian Morris, a healthy Brian Morris, out of the bullpen. And Carter Capps, who underwent Tommy John surgery, and the Marlins are hopeful that he's back to full strength next year. Johnson now. Well, Vince Velasquez looking for win number 9. Pulled foul. Happy birthday to Preston from Joanna in the UK. So you have fans over in the UK, Preston.
Across the pond.
Yes.
Have
you been across the pond?
I have not. But thank you, Joanna.
Well, when you do, you have friends there.
Talked about the good breaking ball that Velasquez has. That's got a nice break to it. Kept it away from Johnson. Good pitch.
Johnson rips that one into left field. Got the bat head through And a 2-out single gets Echevarria up.
That's good hitting right there to be able to get your hands to that fastball. I believe it was a 1-2 count after swinging at a breaking ball. Wow, those are good hands right there, Rich. Very nicely done.
So here is Echevarria. Ichiro is on deck. And there is Ichiro. Echevarria walked his last time up. Ball and a strike. Velasquez still throwing hard at 96.
Yeah, he has that sustained velocity.
Foul back to the screen. We have a lot of follow-up comments about Fox Tracks. Robert wants to know, Preston, what about the full-time use of Fox Tracks in that lower right? You a fan of that, or do you like it just popped in for borderline pitches?
I've seen it both ways. I like it if I have a question on a pitch, but it takes up a lot of space when you leave it up there constantly. And some people like it. You know, I think it's a personal preference thing. I prefer to see a little bit more of the field and then only use it on close pitches.
All right, our director, Christian Roberts, giving you an example of leaving it in for the pitch. I've seen it used both ways as well. We'll give you one more with Fox Tracks during the pitch. Now, there were a couple of fans that wanted to know, can you jazz it up with some color or maybe a snazzier design? That's way above the pay grade of the crack staff.
Yeah, careful, that costs money.
Well, you gotta have the creative ability to design it too. Echevarria fouls it back. Trill just lets us know that they were watching the Marlins game illegally from the Cayman Islands.
All right. Hope they don't catch you, buddy.
Happy birthday, Preston. Here's a 2-2. Echevarria fouls it straight back. Sean wants to know, how soon will Josh Naylor be in the major leagues? You're talking about a guy that was a high school pick out of Canada who is just getting to high A, so at least 2 years.
Yeah, he's got at least a couple years.
Echevarria into center field. Herrera makes the catch. Vince Velasquez terrific tonight for the Phils. 7 innings and just a run in a 1-1 game. With apologies to Wally. 1-1 Marlins and Phils. It's bottom 7 in Philadelphia. Tag team effort out of the pen last night. 4 1/3, no hits, no runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Kyle Bearclaw ended up getting the win. AJ Ramos the save. And I think one of the priceless moments in a long time was the look on Ramos's face when that last out was caught at the wall. That ball that was blasted by Franco, it looked like it was headed over the wall and would tie the game and blow the save. But Ramos stood, watched it, and as Ozuna caught it at the base of the wall and then leapt into Yelich's arms, Ramos had the greatest smile. It was part relief and part amusement.
Yeah.
Phelps gets Cody Ashe, Freddie Galvis, and Cesar Hernandez. All right, here's the look. Now this ball's going to the base of the wall. It's just 2 outs in a 1-run game in the 11th. Wow. Preston, that's why the crack staff led by our producer John Solser are critically acclaimed and generally well liked, is the ability in the blink of an eye to summon up a replay, a picture that captures the moment.
They make it look easy too.
They used to be extremely well liked, but this is the second time through the city here in Philly.
You know,
so they've been
breeds contempt.
Downgraded to generally well liked. Lord knows what September will bring.
I was getting ready to say.
2-2 is outside, and it's 3-2. Nick, Juan, and Stephanie are watching in Denver tonight on our email and Twitter Tuesday, driven by Ford. As Ashe awaits a 3-2 from Phelps. And that fastball misses in. That's a leadoff walk here in the 7th. They are dedicated Marlin fans watching from Denver tonight. Headed to the upcoming series at Coors Field. Want to know where's the best place to sit to catch a Stanton home run in Colorado. And I got to tell you, anywhere from 500 feet in, whether it's straightaway center on over to left, he has hit some incredible home runs in that ballpark. He hit one all the way into the parking lot in left field.
I was just thinking that. I was thinking maybe depending on how well he's swinging, a good spot to get a ball might be the parking lot beyond the left field fence.
He hit a 494-footer, 96-footer to left center, right up by Todd Helton's burger spot. So yeah, we'll see you in Denver. John in Limerick, Ireland. Tell Preston he's welcome to visit Ireland too. We'll show him a good time. Just ask Brian Schneider. We'll have to ask Brian Schneider.
Yeah.
Wasn't Schneider there on a sports game show?
Hey, you know, if we can use Schneider as a reference, we'll see what's going on out there.
And that, a foul tip. Wasn't it one of those game shows where you toss like logs, the log carry?
Might have been like
the Celtic games or something like that. The Celtic games.
Is one of those where they just like kick each other in the shins? Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Come on, man.
0-2 pitch. And it's in. Phelps trying to come back and get the corner. And he got the corner. That's a great pitch on 0-2. Pop up, Prado, and oh my goodness. Prado stumbled. He went head over heels. He ends up with his foot on the tarp. And he gets a hand up from Yelich.
Yeah, that's when you're looking up, running that way, if you're not used to going back on balls, and you know, most infielders don't have to run with their back to the ball or back to the field. So it's a little disorienting.
You could see his footing give way about a step and a half before he went down.
You know, infielders do catch pop-ups, but he was on a dead run, and that's totally different than being able to go to the ball and get under it. That's a whole different skill set for an infielder.
Long at bat here for Freddie Galvis. Ashe's at first, 1-1 game, bottom 7. Phelps in relief of Urena. And another foul ball into the seats. We're told that the sport that Brian Schneider competed in Ireland was hurling. One, two. Got him. Phelps. A foul tip held there by Real Muto. And David Phelps with a strikeout. His second of the ball game. All-Star Saturday. The next one is this Saturday. Mets and Marlins, 7:10 start. And Dontrell Willis with a bobblehead night, courtesy of Stanley Tools. And you can dress up and join the fun. It's Star Trek night, Preston. Get your Star Trek ticket package at marlins.com/special events.
I can't wait to see the outfits and the costumes of the Trekkies that are going to come out that night.
Ryan Howard on deck. This is Cesar Hernandez. The pitcher spot is next. That's why Howard has emerged. And Phelps looks ashy back to first. Jose Urena went 5 2/3.
Phelps trying to navigate around the leadoff walk.
That one creeps out, and it's 2-0. Phillies pen active. And just like that, it's 3-0 with Howard on deck. And the ball strike ratio for Phelps so far. Dry spell for Hernandez. Strike one from Phelps.
Yep, Phelps has just got to find a way to dig back in here and try to get this at bat in his favor. Down 3-0, you got to come with a fastball. 3-1. I expect the same thing. Here you go, hit it.
It's down, or at least Tom Hallion feels it is. And it is. Hallion stuck the call. It was low. And so this sets up Ryan Howard with runners first and second and one out, and a visit from Juan Nieves. It has been a struggle for Howard this year, but in his career, just a little bit over a full season worth of games, he's popped 39 homers and driven in 120 at Miami's expense. But an average of 159, an on base of 219, and a slender slugging percentage of 365 for Howard. He has homered 13 times. Well, Mike Dunn is up now and trying to loosen as fast as he can. And it's Phelps against Howard. Shift is on. Howard, one of those sluggers that will pull on the ground and hit opposite field in the air.
So used to seeing him with that really tall posture in the batter's box. It's really different seeing Ryan Howard in a little bit more of a crouch now. It just doesn't look like the same guy. A lot more flex in the knees. He had that really upright posture in the batter's box. Got his foot down really early.
2-0. And it's low and in. Some feel, pinch a penny, bringing you the pinch hitter, that he's not the same hitter since he tore that Achilles at the end of that division series loss to the Cardinals. I believe it was 2011. And Phelps right now having trouble finding the plate. His ball strike ratio in this inning is out of whack.
Well, hitting starts from the feet up. So if you don't have a strong foundation or a good base, it's hard to have a good, consistent approach. The power is inconsistent.
Off of Phelps, it rolls to Prado, who heads up, gets the out on the slow-footed Howard, who had a green light and a rip at 3-0. Phelps took it off the backside, and a very heads-up play by Prado to hustle the ball over to first.
That's just good awareness and knowing who the base runners are. Yeah, he took that one right in the wallet.
Now, as you watch that replay, if the ball doesn't hit him in the wallet, that's probably a double play to end the inning. Well, here's the decision to make if you're Don Mattingly. You have Mike Dunn in the bullpen, and he's ready. The Marlins are going to walk Herrera. Borges is up next. The gamble here by walking Herrera is that Phelps doesn't have the best of control right now. And now Wickren is up instead of Dunn, which leads you to believe that Dunn was up for Herrera. But now that first base is open, the Marlins are going to load it up with 2 outs. Borges is 1 for 3. And it looks like Don Mattingly is going to give Phelps a shot at Borges. Bags loaded. Borges has singled, lined out, and bounced into a fielder's choice. He has very good speed, infield deep, and Phelps steps off. Fouled straight back, and it's 0-1.
Velocity's been good for Phelps tonight. 96. I think we've seen 97.
Pitch number 35 for Phelps. Ball and a strike and 2 outs in a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 7th. Peter Borges, David Phelps. Strike 2, 97.
Well, he knows when you put that man on first, bases loaded, you got to attack this guy. And I think he's going right at him.
You go right at him at 96, 97 with a fastball again.
If you go fastball, you got to go up. He hasn't had good swings on the fastball up. I actually would try to stay away from the cutter right here if I'm Phelps, because I feel like the fastball is a better option for him.
Tom Hallion says strike 3, and Phelps leaves him loaded at 97 miles an hour. Still 1-1. In Philadelphia tonight, Ichiro is poised on deck, and he will pinch hit here. Hector Neris in for the Phils. Marlins saw him for an inning last night in the 8th. Then he worked a 1-2-3-8. Ichiro did not face him. Ichiro had a couple of at-bats last night. He bounced out and walked. And so it's Ichiro, Real Muto, and Prado for the Fish in the 8th in a 1-1 game. 6 hits away from 3,000. And a fastball sails out.
The reaction to Ichiro and what he's doing this year around the league, all I hear guys on opposing teams say is, man, he's getting a barrel on a lot of balls. You know, he's squaring up the ball regularly, hitting a lot of line drives. I mean, he still gets his Ichiro hits, but he's hitting a lot of balls hard as well.
Two-0 is fouled back. Another foul back. Terrific article on ESPN.com today. Tommy Tomlinson. And the title is The Many Phases of Ichiro. Ichiro flips it into the seats. Ichiro off of Neris. He'll pick it up, underhand it, and just get Ichiro at first. And there's an out here in the 8th.
Yeah, I think Neris stopped that ball with his bare hand. I think it deflected off his hand. Yeah. Ichiro still runs so well. Wow.
Yeah, Neris, the universal sign for I'm okay. The thumbs up. But the Phillies want to make sure.
Either that or this is the good finger I got left.
I can't feel the rest of them, but I can feel this one.
This one still works, Coach. Whoa.
Here's Real Muto now. Real Muto 1 for 2, has singled, walked, and struck out. Benjamin from Texas with an email. Staying up a little late tonight, Ben. Well, it's the summer for Benjamin, one of our younger fans. A strike to Real Muto. Rodney and Whitgren in Miami's pen. Hello to Rich and happy birthday to Preston. Benjamin says one of the most impressive things about the Marlins this season, in his opinion, is the team's ability to hold on to leads and win close games. How much of this success should be credited to the players, especially the bullpen? How much to the coaching staff? Well, I think both, but you know, two areas that jump right out: bullpen and the hitters. And a lot of guys are close and late good in terms of average. Look at this. This season, wins by 3 runs or less. The Marlins and the Mets have the most in all of baseball at 37. Now that's good news and bad news. That's one of the reasons the Marlins have such a low run differential, is that they don't have many blowout wins at all. And that means that when you're winning close games, you are using your frontline relievers, be it Phelps, Bearclaw, now Rodney, and Ramos. Real Muto cracks one to left field. And a base hit, a one-out single. And it gets Prado to the plate with Yelich behind him.
I want to see this swing again. This is a 96 miles an hour fastball working in about belt high. Watch this ball come in and chasing him, and he gets his hands through to that. Most right-handed hitters have trouble with the ball up and in. That's a tough spot to get to that ball. That's a really good swing. Nice short stroke by Real Muto.
So 2 more hits for Real Muto tonight on a 2-for-3 night. Prado lifts it down the line. Borges in pursuit. And in fair territory makes the catch. And it's Yelich now who faces Neris. Gator Great states, I think more importantly what fans are seeing is a positive culture change from last season. More cohesion from top to bottom. Good smile by Gator Great in his avatar.
Yeah, he is.
You buy that, what he's saying? Not culture club, but culture change.
Well, I think anytime you have improvement and, I mean, winning changes a lot. You know, when guys are getting better, Ozuna's having a much better year. Yelich didn't get off to the slow start like he got off to last year. Prado was swinging the bat well. Dietrich's fielding great. When D left, I think you have a lot of guys who've just gotten better. And when you win, things are a lot more positive.
But of course, you got to have a little bit of culture change to start the winning.
Yes. Yeah, I think there's certain mindsets and approaches that get put into place. You know, your coaches, your manager, they set the tone.
Yelich waiting on a 1-1. Long home run from Yelich. 447 feet. Only run of the night for Miami. Phillies got a 424-foot home run from Tommy Joseph up in the second deck in left field. Runner goes, Real Muto running, and a terrific jump and a stolen base. He's got 10 on the season now.
That's a big bag right there. 2 outs. Base hit will score you now.
You know, I asked JT if he was a base stealer in high school. He, of course, was an incredible quarterback for the 5A state champions in Oklahoma. And he said he could steal bases, but only when he needed to, he said. He wasn't one of those guys that ran all the time, but when they needed a bag and he was on, he would get it for him. And he's shown that ability in the big leagues now. Yelich takes down, and it's 2-2. It's a pretty good take with 2 strikes.
97 with some sink on it.
Two. And that misses, and it's 3-2. Stanton on deck. Yelich gets a 3-2 to swing at here. And you got Real Muto in scoring position with 2 outs in the 8th. A swing and a miss, and Yelich goes down. And the Marlins leave a runner out at second. Still 1-1. sides here. The Marlins and the Phillies played to extra innings last night. It was a Martin Prado homer that decided it. Tomorrow night, everything starts at 6:30 with Marlins Live. Wei-Yin Chen and Jeremy Hellickson. And as we talked about early in the telecast, when we read, I forget the name of the gentleman who had been sending emails in for 7 years, and we finally got to him. Marlins are hopeful for a better second half out of Chen and the back of that rotation. And Chen will try to take a step forward tomorrow night against the Phillies. Nick Whitgren, who was sharp last night. Whitgren pitched the 8th and went 1-2-3. And here he is, amazingly again in the 8th. On Preston Wilson's birthday tonight in Philadelphia, visit from the Fanatic. Birthday cupcakes, which have disappeared. And Maikel Franco.
He's just looked like he's been behind the fastball all night. I think he's one of the stars waiting to happen for this Philly team. Just doesn't seem to be on the fastball right now.
Little pop up. Johnson is there, and he makes the catch. Marco has a tweet. Preston, why do some players put black paint under their eyes?
Well, the theory is that black absorbs light, so it takes the glare out of your eye by absorbing the light rays into those black patches. That's why guys wear it. It takes the glare off of your eyes because black absorbs light, so it reduces the glare by absorbing that light.
And there's Prado. He's got a couple of fresh swipes there. Now, in modern days, they also have a little black tape that I guess serves the same purpose, but
right.
I like the not all Bryce Harper where it turns into a Mel Gibson like look, but I like this, just that, you know, applied by finger, kind of a black tar like effect. If you don't know who Mel Gibson is, Google him, kids.
or not.
Yeah, that's true.
or not.
Yeah. Instead, download Braveheart. That's a safer thing.
Yes, thank you.
Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. See, that's why Preston's here, to keep me in line. Just like last night, Nick Whitgren has 2 quick outs. And here is Tommy Joseph. Well, Joseph last night had a solo home run off of Jose Fernandez. And tonight off of Jose Urena, who, by the way, if you missed him, looked really good tonight. 5 2/3, a run on 4 hits and 5 strikeouts. And of course, one thing the Phils have done with Joseph, who was a catcher coming up, had the concussion issues, put him at first base. And he looks more and more comfortable there.
But a big fella's got an explosive bat. We've seen that this series.
Yeah, and that'll play in any ballpark, but especially in this ballpark.
You know, I like the move to first base for guys like that, because now they're not getting the foul tips from the batter. You know, bat swings. Reduce the chance of him, you know, having any type of contact or foul tips to his head.
Bullpen working. Wickren getting a fastball foul back to the screen. It's 2-2.
He was down 2-0 and just made two really good pitches. Fastballs down and away, but for strikes, quality strikes. Now he's got the count tied 2-2.
And a changeup, and it spins foul. One of the things that you like about Wickren is that he's pitched in high leverage spots coming up in the minor leagues as a closer. He was a closer at Purdue. And so when he comes into a spot like this, even though he's not in that rotation of Bearclaw, Phelps, Rodney, and Ramos, this is not foreign to him. He, I think, adds a lot of depth to the bullpen.
He does. I've been impressed with him ever since he's come up. Good stuff.
Another changeup, and this one is belted into right for a hit. Left that one up.
Yeah, this ball's just up in the zone. Good piece of hit, and they're staying with that.
That one popped towards the dugout and out of play. Got a tweet from Anna in Parkland, who points out that Mythbusters tested the eye black, and their conclusion, it doesn't do anything. You're aware of Mythbusters?
Well, that's why I said the theory is that what it does. Okay. I didn't say it actually worked. I said the theory is you put it under there to absorb the glare.
Not much gets by Anna.
Yeah, you know, got to keep us honest. Got to keep us honest.
Ashe fouls it back. One ball game. Marlins, Phillies, bottom 8. The Fish, for the first time since 2012, are 8 games over 500. The last time they were 9 over was a year before that, 2011. Fastball up from Wickren.
That's a good pitch because now he can throw the changeup, he can throw a breaking ball, or he can go up and away with a fastball right here. I like that pitch. See what he set up. I'm hoping it's a changeup. Nope, 94 fastball up and away. I thought a changeup would have been a really good pitch there. Got his eyes up hard with the fastball and throw the changeup away, try to get him out front. 3-2 pitch. See where they go now.
Joseph will run from first. And he goes. And it's fouled back. Three-two. Derek Dietrich, eye black and all, makes the play. Giancarlo Stanton coming up in a 1-1 game that's headed to the 9th. as Vin would say, a reminder, MLB.TV Premium, #1 live streaming sports service available. Every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices, and some that are unsupported, as we found out tonight with some of you pirating the game. More power to you. Blackout and other restrictions apply. MLB.TV for details. Well, back up on the horse is Jenmar Gomez. He was touched for 2 runs in the 9th and blew the save last night. Stanton, first hitter up, fastball misses. It's 1-0. Stanton's 0 for 3. Gomez, who was on a pretty good run. He had 24 saves before the All-Star break. And it tied Steve Bedrosian and Jose Mesa for the club record. He threw a lot of those sinking fastballs that came in right around the kneecaps. One. Stanton into the seats.
This ball runs back right over the middle of the plate.
That may be the best pitch Stanton gets tonight.
That was a mistake. That's the one when you go back and you look at your tape, I got to hit that ball.
And he buries that one down and in, and Stanton swings right over it.
A little late right there with his setup.
Ozuna now has struck out, walked, and bounced out. Pulls that one foul. Phillies got 7 innings out of Vince Velasquez. Just the Yelich homer, 3 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Scoreless inning from Hector Neris, and now Gomez in the 9th. And Jenmar Gomez misses up. A.J. Ramos and Mike Dunn. Kyle Bearclaw, in all likelihood, is off limits. And you think about things too, if you want to add up innings and appearances. Fernando Rodney has worked in 3 of the last 4 games. Up and in. Bearclaw has worked in the last 2 and thrown 43 pitches in those 2 games. So there are some arms that you would expect Don Mattingly is going to try to stay away from. Ozuna in the gap, left center. Over for it is Herrera, who scoops it up and keeps Ozuna at first. And a 1-out single for Miami. Derek Dietrich and then Chris Johnson.
Good quick hands right here. Pulls the hands in. Herrera did a great job of getting over there, cutting that ball off, keeping that to a single. He got to that ball really quickly.
Now Dietrich. Dietrich sends that left field deep. Ashe back at the wall, and he makes the catch. Dietrich has had some hard outs here in the last 2 nights and nothing to show for it. He's now 0 for 8 in the series.
And that's when you just have to stay the course. You can't worry about the results. If you're hitting the ball hard, you just got to keep doing that, and hopefully sooner or later you'll start falling.
Now Chris Johnson, 1 for 2 with a walk. Ozuna at first. And Gomez chases him back. And a pitch in. We've been busy with emails and tweets tonight, and they've been very good. We'll continue that tact as the night goes on. But we will duck in this one score. The Mets and the Cubs are 1-1 in the top of the 9th inning. Just like this one. And you know what? Why not one more score? Dodgers 7, Nationals 3. That's bottom 8 in D.C.
Gomez's 92-93 looks like it's a lot harder than 92-93.
Is that because most of that has sink on it?
But the ball moves late.
Gomez, the guy that kind of inherited the closer role, or won it, maybe a better way to put it, in spring training, and had a very nice first half. Got that up, and Johnson slaps it foul. All right, now action in the seats as well as on the field.
Oh, oof. That's going to leave a mark.
Gomez misses out, and this will start Ozuna, which could be a key if Johnson gets one in the gap. Oh, here's what, you hear that applause? A Philly fan handing the kid who hurt himself the baseball. That's a fair ball. And the third out of the top of the 9th. So Jenmar Gomez, second time around, better tonight. Still 1-1. Marlins baseball, Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. One ball game, bottom 9. Marlins and Phillies, Don Kelly. In a double switch, Mike Dunn is in. High leverage spot here. And that's after a scoreless inning from Nick Whitgren and an inning and a third scoreless from David Phelps. And we showed you earlier tonight how well the Marlins bullpen through last night, a little over 4 innings of scoreless relief, hitless relief last night. Freddie Galvis. Cesar Hernandez. And then the pitcher spot occupied by Jenmar Gomez. Mike Dunn throws a strike. Last time out, Dunn went 2 innings in St. Louis, gave up a run. And a breaking ball misses outside. The run he gave up came on a home run by Johnny Peralta. And that one fouled back to the screen. And for Dunn now, his 17th appearance. Chasing that one was Galvis. And the switch hitting shortstop is out number 1. It looks like for Mike Dunn, the more he pitches this year, the more effective he's getting. For a guy that missed spring training with a strained forearm, maybe he's getting to that point where a natural spring training in terms of time has allowed him to pitch better. Two hops for Echeverria. And 2 down. Andres Blanco will take the at-bat for the Phils.
Dunn's done a good job of getting ahead. Like to see him finish off this inning.
Well, with the double switch, the Marlins would like to see that happen too, so that they could use him if this ball game went to the bottom of the 10th, if they needed to. Mets got a run in the 9th and now lead the Cubs 2-1. Bottom 9 in Chicago. Pop up, Kelly giving chase, and he makes a catch. Nicely done by Mike Dunn. 8-pitch inning. Hey, how about extra innings again? Bring on the beef jerky. Summary. Vince Velasquez throws hard. Jose Urena making a start in that 5 spot. 4th inning. Preston, what happened?
Christian Yelich goes way deep, 447 feet up into the upper bullpen out there.
All right. Tommy Joseph, what happened?
He goes deep, 25 feet shorter than Yelich, but still upper deck in left.
All right, is that all that happened?
Pretty much.
That's your game summary for tonight. Here's Echeverria, and he fouls one back. David Hernandez pitched last night for the Phillies. And he comes in here making, wow, 44th appearance for this sturdy right-hander. He walked 2, struck out 2, and he bounces one up there. He's a guy that is a high strikeout guy. In that double switch, Don Kelly is in the 9 spot, so he's due up second. Then you got JT Realmuto. Echeverria center field. Herrera back, and he won't get it. It's over his head and off the wall, and it rattles around. Etch is going to stop it second. He thought about third, but once he saw the throw from Herrera, he put the brakes on, and Miami gets a leadoff double here in the 10th.
Echeverria doing some work, getting on top of some high cheese right here, driving it deep to center field. Herrera thought he had a chance at it, but this ball took off. Edge thought about it, but when you're in this situation, you got to make third base standing up. I think he made the right decision. If he wasn't sure, hold up. You're already in scoring position. And the Cardinal rule is you don't make the first or third out at third base.
Don Kelly attempting to bunt here, and he takes outside. Now, a couple things to think about here. Tommy Joseph is not a skilled first baseman coming in from first base. Franco is holding at third. Echeverria, the runner, at second. And Kelly trying to get the bunt down, fouls it off.
Yeah, you want Franco to have to field this ball.
Marlins trying to get him over and get him in. Whether it's a bunt or a ground ball pulled to the right side. Kelly squares. Pops the bunt up, and it's caught. Franco with the catch, and the Marlins don't get him over. Echeverria still out at second base.
Franco looked like his head hit snap. See that head snap violent right there on the ground? Violently, I should say. Oof.
Ouch. And the Phillies trainer is coming out to look at Mikhail Franco.
Yeah, I think he's a little woozy.
Real Muto and then Prado now scheduled up against Hernandez.
Yeah, that, you saw his neck snap like that. That can't feel very good.
So a couple hits for Real Muto and up in a spot here with Echeverria at second base. Real Muto faced Hernandez last night and lined out to left. Remember that catch that Ashe made? That was Real Muto's swing. And Ashe at that point saved the game with a diving catch with 2 outs and 2 runners on. So Real Muto has seen Hernandez hit the ball hard against him last night. Echeverria at second. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. JT has done a little bit of everything tonight. 2 hits, a walk, a stolen base. He has 10 stolen bases this year. Pitch is a strike, throw back behind, and that was close because that was an incredible throw from Rupp. Phillies are actually going to look at this.
Well, the lead leg got in. The trail leg came late, but the lead leg looked like it got on the base. His left leg looked like it made contact with the base first.
And no challenge, maybe a bit of relief from Echeverria. Real Muto questioned that last call. But he's still in the at-bat at 1-2. Oof. That was close. And that was a strike.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to take right there. I mean, it really was a strike, but wow.
That is a break for Real Muto and the Marlins. 2-2 pitch. Got him on a breaking ball. We told you Hernandez, a good strikeout guy, and he gets the first of his appearance tonight.
Yeah, that's a good breaking ball.
Well, the guy that had the big hit in extra innings last night is up right now, and that's Martin Prado. It was a home run last night. Yelich on deck, and a breaking ball misses in. Three fly ball outs and a ground ball double play. But of course, if you watch Marlins live, you heard Prado say he had some smelly at bats. Well, he didn't say that, but he almost did. He said 3 really lousy at bats, but he didn't want to let that affect him in the 11th. And he forgot about it and blasted one into the seats in left field. And that was the difference in a 3-2 win in 11 innings. He's got a 3-0 pitch. 3-1. Neither Prado nor Yelich saw Hernandez last night. That Mets game has gone final. They beat the Cubs 2-1. Pitch is out. And Prado walks. So Martin Prado joins Echeverria. And Pete McCannon, who's got a lefty ready in the pen, is going to go get him to face Yelich. Hernandez exits, and so do we. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. Extra Innings Baseball presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. All season long, feed your wild side. 1-1 ball game, top 10. 2 outs. Christian Yelich comes up. Phillies go with a lefty. 4th reliever to work. You see Yelich splits. Daniel Stumpf. And you see the road has not been smooth for Stumpf in his 5 previous appearances. An ERA of over 10. Against Yelich. Echeverria at second. Prado at first, and Stumpf misses out. Well, I mean, Stumpf is in here to face Yelich. I don't see anybody throwing in the Phillies' pen. If he walks Yelich, Stanton's up next.
Yes, he is. And unless they got somebody warming up in the tunnel, he's going to have to face the righty.
Yelich should get a good pitch here. It's up. Stumpf is a Rule 5 draft pick. Was property of the Royals. He was in Double-A last year. And hasn't come close to the strike zone. Three and 1. Outfield playing Yelich towards left center. He homered to deep right center. I mean, really deep. 447 into the Marlins bullpen. It's a strike. And suddenly Stumpf is back in the at-bat. And the count is full. It will, however, start Echeverria and Prado, which helps in this ballpark with the dimensions in right and left, and the outfielders close.
That's a gutsy pitch for a guy who
had only thrown 1 strike in 4 pitches up to that point to throw a 3-1 slider.
See if he throws another slider here. Runners on the move. And the 3-2 to Yelich. Yelich into left field. That's a base hit. Echevarria around third. And he scores. And Miami in extra innings has scored again. Yelich had a key hit in the 9th last night. And here he bangs one into left. And now it's Stanton against the lefty.
Yelich is one of those lefties that when they bring in the lefty, it actually tends to shorten up his swing. He really does a good job of staying on the ball, thinking, driving that ball to left center or center field. And Mom loves it.
All right. Mound visit here. And whether they're trying to buy some time. Bob McClure, the pitching coach for the Phils.
Hello.
Pete McCann and Larry Boa looking at the card, and it looks like Stumpf, the Rule 5 lefty, is going to face Stanton here in the 10th. Ozuna, who hits lefties quite well, is on deck. Stanton takes a rip at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Home runs against lefties. Stanton has hit 7. There's a sharp ground ball. Galvis gets the out, but the Marlins get a run. Christian Yelich summons A.J. Ramos. A 2-1 Marlin lead. Top. Christian Yelich with a big hit, chasing home Adeiny Echevarria, who doubled in the 10th. And the Marlins make a move defensively. Miguel Rojas now at second. And A.J. Ramos on the mound. Ramos will enter at the top of the Phillies order. And of course, last night picked up his 30th save. Well, this makes Jessica Blaylock happy. Little Led Zeppelin here in the bottom of the 10th as she gets prepped for Marlins Live. A.J. Ramos needs 3 outs here. He runs smack dab into Odubel Herrera, Peter Borges, and Michael Franco. Herrera has singled in 3 trips. 0-1 fastball. What'd you see last night from AJ Ramos?
Just what I'm used to seeing. He just goes out there and he competes. You know, I thought he had good stuff last night. Breaking ball was there for him last night. But good arm. His fastball looked live. He hit 95 a couple times last night. Looked good.
Preston, this is the same trio he faced last night. Herrera, Borges, and Franco. He got Herrera to bounce back to the mound. He struck out Borges. And of course, Franco put a charge in one, but it came up short at the wall in the glove of Marcell Ozuna. One and two. Yelich gives chase. Heck of a play. Lenny Dykstra looking guy. Look at that.
Yeah, that's the 1986 Dykstra right there.
One, two. Got him, breaking ball. And a sharp one at that.
Wow, that's a nasty breaking ball. After doubling up on the changeup, he goes to the breaking ball and just buries it. And Herrera does not come close on that one. That's a nasty pitch.
Here is Borges. And a strike. Ramos out in front, 0-1. We showed you earlier that the Marlins and the Mets were tied for the most wins in baseball of 3 runs or less. The Mets have a 1-run win tonight. And yet here are the Marlins with a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 10th. Not a lot of laughers, not a lot of blowouts for the Marlins this year.
Oh, he took even more for that 77 miles an hour. I think the one he threw to Herrera was 81. He really dialed that one back, got that big looping break on it. That was more of the 12-6 curveball.
1-2. Ramos. Two balls, 2 strikes. Even when it's a 1-2-3 save like last night, there is a little thrill, which was the Franco fly ball. Borges stays alive and fouls it back. All right, we gave you that Mets score. The Mets have won. The Dodgers have defeated the Nationals, which means the Marlins, who have their sights set at the top of the division, could pick up an all-important game if Ramos can get 2 more outs here. Into right, Stanton is there, and he makes a running catch.
It's a good. I knew that ball is hard hit, but that's the right approach by AJ Ramos. In this situation, you don't get pulled to you don't get beat to the pull side. You make them hit the ball to the big part of the ballpark, stay away from their strength. Border's only chance of hitting the ball out of the ballpark is to pull it. So you stay away.
Last night, for the final out in a one-run game in the 11th, at the wall was Ozuna and Yelich, and watch Ramos. And so here they are again, Franco and Ramos, this time in the 10th. And this breaking ball starts the at-bat for a strike. 0-1.
Franco's got a lot of power. See the 18 home runs on the season. If Ramos goes in, he's got to go in off the plate. Cannot throw him a strike in.
He's out in front 0-2.
Well, the question now is, does he just go right ahead and try to get the strikeout, or does he use a pitch to set up the pitch that he wants to get him out with? Looks like a slider.
0-2 is a slider. Ball game. And for the second straight night in Philly, extra innings and extra A.J. Ramos. Christian Yelich with a big hit tonight, and the Marlins feeling good about themselves. Win it here 2-1 for the first time since 2011. The Marlins are 9 games over and now 4.5 games out in the East. And another smile from Ramos after the save. AT&T high-speed replay. Remember, Yelich had that homer for the first run, and in the 10th, our AT&T high-speed replay.